to Upbuilding Discourses by Søren Kierkegaard. Although this little book, which is called Discourses, not sermons, because its author does not have authority to preach upbuilding discourses, not discourses for upbuilding, because the speaker by no means claims to be a teacher, wishes to be only what it is, a superfluity, and desires only to remain in hiding, just as it came into existence in concealment. I nevertheless have not bidden it farewell without an almost fantastic hope, inasmuch as in being published is in the figurative sense starting a journey. I let my eyes follow it for a while. I saw how it wended its way down solitary paths or walked solitary on public roads. After a few little mistakes, through being deceived by fleeting resemblance, it finally met that single individual whom I with joy and gratitude call my reader. That single individual is seeking, to whom, so to speak, it stretched out its arms. That single individual who is favorably enough disposed to allow himself to be found, favorably enough disposed to receive it, whether at the time of the encounter it finds him cheerful and confident, or weary and pensive. On the other hand, inasmuch as in being published it actually remains quiet without moving from this spot, I let my eyes rest on it for a little while. It stood there like a humble little flower under the cover of the great forest, sought neither for its splendor, nor its fragrance, nor its food value. But I also saw, or thought I saw, how the bird I call my reader suddenly noticed it, flew down to it, picked it, and took it home. And when I had seen this, I saw no more. There is talk of the good things of the world, of health, happy times, prosperity, power, good fortune, a glorious fame, and we are warned against them. The person who has them is warned not to rely on them, and the person who does not have them is warned not to set his heart on them. About faith there is a different kind of talk. It is said to be the highest good, the most beautiful, the most precious, the most blessed riches of all, not to be compared with anything else, incapable of being replaced. Is it distinguished from the other good things, then by being the highest, but otherwise of the same kind, as they are transient and capricious, bestowed only upon the chosen few, rarely for the whole life? If this were so, then it certainly would be inexplicable that in these sacred places it is always faith and faith alone that is spoken of, that is eulogized and celebrated again and again. If one person went to another and said to him, I have often heard faith extolled as the most glorious good, I feel that I do not have it. The confusion of my life, the distractions of my mind, my many cares, and so much else disturbs me. But this I know, that I have but one wish, one single wish, that I might share in this faith. If by my wishing, or by my gift, I could bestow upon him the highest good, he said, then I could also take it from him. Even if he would not have to be afraid of that, worse yet, if I could do that, then the very moment I gave it to him, I would be taking it from him, since by giving him the highest, I would be depriving him of the highest, because the highest was what he could give himself. Therefore, I will thank God that is not the way it is. How then shall we face the future? When the sailor is on the ocean, when everything is changing all around him, when the waves are born and die, he does not stare down into the waves, because they are changing. He looks up at the stars. Why? Because they are faithful. They have the same location now that they had for our ancestors, and will have for generations to come. By what means does he conquer the changeable? By the eternal. One can conquer the future, because the eternal is the ground of the future, and therefore, through it, the future can be fathomed. What then is the eternal power in the human being? It is faith. What is the expectancy of faith? Victory, or, as Scripture so earnestly and so movingly teaches us, that all things must serve for good to those who love God. If you had loved people, then the earnestness of life might have taught you not to be strident, but to become silent, and when you were in distress at sea and did not see land, then at least not to involve others in it. It might have taught you to smile at least, as long as you believed anyone sought in your face an explanation, a witness. We do not judge you for doubting, because doubt is a crafty passion, and it can certainly be difficult to tear oneself out of its snares. What we require of the doubter, that he be silent. The doubt did not make him happy. Why then confide to others will make them just as unhappy. An expectancy without specified time and place is nothing but deception. In that way, one may always go on weighing. Such an expectancy is a circle into which the soul is bewitched, and from which it does not escape. In the expectancy of faith, the soul is indeed prevented from falling out of itself, as it were, into multiplicity. It remains in itself, but it would be the worst evil that could befall a person if he escaped from this cycle. You want God's ideas about what was best for you to coincide with your ideas, but you also want Him to be the almighty creator of heaven and earth, so that He could properly fulfill your wish. And yet, if He were to share your ideas, He would cease to be the Almighty Father. When you had doubts about what came from God, or about what was a good and perfect gift, did you risk the venture? And when the light sparkle of joy beckoned you, did you thank God for it? And when you were so strong that you felt you needed no help, did you then thank God? And when your allotted portion was low, did you thank God? And when your allotted portion was sufferings, did you thank God? And when your wish was denied, Did you thank God? And when you yourself had to deny your wish, did you thank God? And when people wronged you and insulted you, did you thank God? We're not saying that their wrong thereby ceased to be wrong. What would be the use of such pernicious and foolish talk? It is up to you to decide whether it was wrong. But have you taken the wrong and insult to God, and by your thanksgiving received it from His hand as a good and perfect gift? Did you do that? Did you keep the apostolic words holy? Did you treasure them in the pure and beautiful heart, and refuse to be ransomed for any price or in any wily bribe on the part of prudence? From the deep pain of having to confess again and again that you never loved as you were loved, that you were faithless when God was faithful, that you were lukewarm when He was ardent, that He sent good gifts that you perverted to your own detriment, that He inquired about you, but that you would not answer, that He called to you, but you would not listen, that He spoke cordially to you, but you ignored it, that He spoke earnestly to you, but you misunderstood it, that He fulfilled your wish, and for thanks you brought new wishes, that He fulfilled your wish, but you had made the wrong wish and were quick to anger.